Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, mate, pleasure.
Ross, we're gonna get straight into this. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of people listening to this will know you as Rossko the DJ.
Yep.
But today we want to get to know a little bit more about your journey. We're going to go way back. You got East London Scottish and Essex roots.
Yes.
Okay, so
Cockney Chev.
How did that shape you when you were growing up?
Yeah, it's my granddad was a proper Cockney Bow Bells character. He had, all the snooker halls and all that stuff. He had nightclubs. And so, he was a big drinker, gambler, that kind of side. And then my parents moved us out to Essex. And, what everybody says about Essex. And so we're a bit lively and a bit chirpy. And then my dad's side is which is the really calmer side, which is like Campbelltown. It's the arm. It's like the point on the end. You're either a fisherman or you work in the whiskey factory. It's super nature. So I had that really nice balance of a triangle, a bit of everything. So growing up, especially in Essex, man, it was fun. I lived in a small town and I had not much to do, so it was either getting in trouble or doing sport. And luckily enough, I was mad for football, and and just spent my years doing football, basically.
Absolutely, mate. You know what? When you sent me that over, you played for Southend, Ipswich, Leyton Orient.
Yeah, so I had at Southend, and then Ipswich Town Academy. They pinched me. Like I used to play with. They were a year above me, but I used to play a year up a couple of times, like with Darren Bent.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Darren Ambrose.
Oh, yeah.
And I was around that time of like Titus Bramble, Kieran Dyer. They were in the older youth teams and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That was till 16, and I didn't make the cut for the YTS there. And then I could have signed for Fulham, but this was the time when Mohammed Al fired with Diana?
Potentially,
yeah. Who owns Harrods?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He had all the money, and like Fulham, he was just buying all the players. And I remember my first football coach come to me and he said, like, you go there, you're just not going to get a chance. So he said, go for a lower league team, play in for them, get in the youth team and get in the first team really early, and then get bought and go up the league instead of falling out and going all the way down. So I joined Leyton Orient. And unfortunately, my first trial match, one of the old pros was playing. I turned to show up and shouted at an old pro, like, pass me the ball. And he's turned around and said, oh, shut up, you danky piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And he hated me from that day. And then it turned out that football player became the manager of Leyton Orient. And he just hated me and kicked me out. So as much as I was good at football, politics came into it. And I did 3 years YTS, and then I came out of that and played like semi-pro football for Billericay Town, Fisher Athletic. I actually played out in Japan as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I played for like non-league England, and I got picked for like a centenary tour for the FA to represent like fair play. And I just got lucky that we went to Japan, and it was just after the 2002 World Cup. So we literally played in all the stadiums of that where Japan had done. So yeah, I did 3 months out there doing a tour. So yeah, football was a really big part of what I did, and actually the skills there. Everyone thinks footballers are dumb and that, but actually I transferred that skill from playing professional football into DJing, which was obviously training a week, game on the weekend. If you don't train hard, you don't get better. Yeah. So, and obviously it's a competitive, all of the traits of that. I just shifted that over into my DJ career later on.
Okay, one sec.
Yeah.
We'll cut this part.
Yeah, no stress.
I'm trying to shut this door, right?
Cheap fake wooden doors.
On that though, I don't think people appreciate the competitiveness of professional football, because I remember when I was at primary school, there was a guy, Sam, and he was the best footballer for the whole of Cheshire. And he played for City as a left back. Yeah. He didn't even make it as a semi-pro footballer, and he was like the best in the whole county.
Yeah, it's so many moving parts to professional football, and I just see now they've got like a ballers league which has just come out on TV, on YouTube, which is like like a baller is someone that's got amazing skills in that. But football is about taking on instructions and bending your skills to what the manager wants and sees. And so in the end, you got more Gary Nevilles who are 75%, then you got the kids with the egos that's kind of like shaped it out. And so, yeah, football is like dedication, man. It's like, and also I see it, I listen to Eric Cantona, it's like an art form, man. Like people like ballerinas, the movements you do, the things that you see, like no one can, like, I understand why people get paid that much money, but there is a real craft into football, like how you hit the ball, how you strike the ball, seeing things before other people seeing it, pictures in your head. Like it is quite a technical game. It's just obviously in this day and age how footballers are perceived. Of
course.
That people think that.
Everyone wants to.
That's why footballers stay quiet and just smile, just man. Like, look,
at the end of
they know what they're doing.
You do this.
Yeah.
So at the same time, you was an MC.
Yeah, man. Football. So that run parallel. So that's. I remember one day I was in my house and. My friend gave me a tape back, and I pressed play on the tape recorder, and like I swear to you, in my life, this bolt of light hit me in my heart, and I was like, wow, this music, wow, what is it? And I just got instantly hooked. And you'll see all DJs or music people around my age, they'll talk about the Walkman in the arm, listening to the tunes, and I remember playing a football tour and was on the back of the bus. And funny enough, I just got in contact with him. My mentor of an MC was MC Shy, and he was on the back of the bus MCing, and I was like, yo, I want to get at the back of the bus with the older crew, like I got our MC. And I just found that again, like linking, connecting words, rhyming, expressing myself around my way. There wasn't much to do, so I see that again, like as an art form, man. Like I used to get picked up by an older guy in a Ford Focus. We get in a crew, get in a car, and then we drive up to the second highest point in Essex, which is Langdon Hills, and you can see London. And we could tune into the pirate radio stations in London, and we sit there with our rhyming dictionaries, writing bars. And then the next week we'll go on the pirate radio. So. Yeah, that was really a way of life for me, pirate radio. For me, it was really about representing who you were. And then side of that was graffiti as well. So that would come like doing art, expressing ourselves. So we'd go and buy spray cans in the day, go and paint a piece, and then do that. Yeah, it was really cool. But it's quite funny. I was living a double life because I was playing football professionally, and then like Friday night I'll be like to my mum and dad, I'm going to bed at like 9 o'clock, and then like midnight I'll be like sneaking out my house, jump out the front window, go and do a radio set, sneak back in my house at 3 o'clock, lay down. But I even knew I was a DJ back then because I didn't even know it, but when we used to play away games, I'd be on the coach and I would have my CD wallet. I'd be next to me and the driver, and I'd be putting the CDs in. So I always had that music thing in me, and obviously I got like a record deal when I was really young. I did a really cheesy a Sting remake, Every Step I Take, that tune. And I had to do like football or that, and like football or music, and obviously every dad in Essex, East London, what do you want to be? Music or football? He's like, you got to do football, son. And that was like running. And I always knew in football it wasn't really for me. And so then when I gave up football, I just transitioned into my MC.
Because that was going to be my question.
Probably answered it.
No, it was good because, what did you, if you had the choice at that moment, if football had gone the way that you wanted it to, would it have been music? Yeah,
so like, the thing for me is like, I'm a big guy, and so like physically and like technically, I was really good at it, but I didn't really love it. Okay, so like I would be out every day playing football, but that's all I knew. But when I discovered electronic music and digging music and MCing, I had the fire in me that I didn't have the fire in me for football. Like, if I had the fire with me in football, I would probably be, back then, like, train more, can I get an extra trainer? Can I do all of that? I was just naturally good at playing football, and that's just what you did in your area. But with my MCing, like, I took it to the next level. We were going like onto pirate radio stations in London. My DJ was getting dub plates off MSN. We were going to go and cutting them at Music House for £15, you know, like, it was a real cultural thing. We weren't doing it for anything part of like, this is like it. I was in it. Like, I did like UK garage, but like the really start of early grime, I was really a part of that. I went to like the first DMZ raves, Plastic People. So, but that was just my journey. That's what we were into. Yeah. We were just doing it, like.
So, so when you left the football career, did you feel lost, or did you? It was just like, and you knew you wanted to go into music, or like, how did that transition?
Yeah, so I was like a lost boy, man. Like, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just went to my local job centre. And as you know, I talk a lot, so he was like, "You'll be good at sales." So I just jumped me into the city. I was working in Liverpool Street. Worked for a company. It was like Wolf of Wall Street. I was land spanking, but I didn't know it then. But basically, like, selling land for investment. But it was never going to get planning permission, and it was all dodgy and all that stuff. But I was just doing that just to earn money and be in the city and get out of Essex and live there. And with music, I never. Which I do know now is like, I never took it as a career or as a business. It was a passion. 1 gig become 2 gigs, 3 gigs, 4 gigs, and then 20 years later, it just kind of rolled into one. It wasn't like I sat down and was like, right, I've got to give this up. Actually, my boss sat me down. He was a really big DJ back in the day, and he knew that, and he was like, look, Ross, you're giving me 50% here, and you're getting 50% out of your DJ career. You got to choose one or the other. And he was like, I know what you want, because you're coming in, you got your tunes on all the time, you're taking everyone out in the office on Friday to go down to T-Bar. Like, I think it's time that you just go for the plunge
and go all in.
And go all in. And so, yeah, it just naturally rolled. And what I learned is, like, every time you open one door, other ones come. And I, like Tashiki's Castle, I seem to just hit the right ones and and didn't hit the wall. So
it's funny, I was watching that the other day. They got a new season out. Anyway,
oh really? Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? I resonate with that so much because I remember when I was working at the university in Southend.
Yes.
When I just started DJing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what my boss said to me. There, he's like, "Look, you're giving it less than 50%."
Yeah.
And at the same time, Hans at Egg, he said, "Look, if you want to make this work, you got to move to London."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was it was just a natural progression. It wasn't like I set out to do that. So it's the same for you.
Yeah, I just think that, but because back then, DJs wasn't viewed as a career.
Yeah.
Even though it was careers for some people, there wasn't many of it because there wasn't many parties, there wasn't many clubs. There were just that amount. But now everyone seems to be a DJ or treating it like a career. And I totally get it because the day and age changed. But probably if we were young now, we wouldn't be thinking how we was thinking. We would be thinking, right, it's a career. ChatGPT, how do I become a DJ?
With my suit on.
But it was the thing for us is that, like, it will never go, is that passion in the core is the foundation that everything's built off. So, like, even if you don't do it as a career, you still have that there, which I find really important, where some kids, they don't have that there. They have the outside bit, which is the career and the money and doing the social stuff. But, like, the real passion locked inside is the foundations for why I'm still here.
Absolutely. So just with that, you're in sales. You've got you're into the scene now.
Yes.
But one thing I think, looking back now, do you think the rave scene was maybe an escape? Was it identity, or was it both? Like, if you look back now.
Yeah. So in my area, kind of looking at it like. This is my assumption, was like my crew of friends that I hang around with, I'm not really friends with them anymore because you only get to really choose your friends out of those 100 people in your year. So they're not your real friends, they're just the friends that you have to choose. And so few things happened, I won't go into it. And like, I never really, I was kind of hated because I was really good at football. I was always getting the birds. So my mates were always a bit shady and all that stuff. So, and I never really fitted in. And so I was always been looking for connection. And so when I had that music, like all my mates were like big D&B jungle guys. And when I found like house music and minimal and stuff, I'll tell you a good story how I met Enzo. That's an amazing how it came full circle. All my friends were calling me, oh, Ross is that weird guy. He's listening to minimal. And so then before Facebook, there was a website called Face Party, and it was basically like the beginning of Facebook, and it was just a profile, and it was your name, where you come from, what your interests were. And I'd found on like LimeWire Circo Loco mixes, and so I wrote like interest Circo Loco, and then when I did my tag, I'd matched someone that also liked Circo Loco, and it was this girl called Purdy. So we messaged and we met up in Chelmsford. And like we were just like, swapping CDs, like super into music. And she was like, you've got to come to Public Life, the toilet. My friend Chris Stanford, big up Lost Souls, Anthony Di Francesco, you got to come in. They do a Saturday morning after party. And so when I went in there, I was like, I got my connection. All those people around me have the same thing that I love, that I was searching for in Essex, which I didn't get. And I don't begrudge my friends. It's like apples and pears. Like there's just not that it is. And I was just a different tribe. And so I'm moving into London and doing it was that I didn't get much love and connection back at home with friends, with family. So I always felt an outsider, and that actually became my identity, which then actually is the downfall of like defining yourself through that. But I found my tribe because I did my football. I didn't really belong there. I did my MCing. I did like the early grime, and then when it started to get too like shoot you up and like too heavy, too MC focused, I was like, that's not for me. And then I found that, and I was like, yes, this is me. I could be me there.
So how did those those underground parties lead to Fuse then? And how old were you at this point?
So I must have been like 20, 21. So this is the maddest story. So I was going out a lot in Southend. So we would get like Southend was the leading place to hear London's music, if that makes sense. So Southend promoters were bringing that up. That's like where garage came from. Like people were bringing from London up to Southend. So there's a party called Too Damn Glam. Big up Dyson.
I know Dyson.
You know Dyson, yeah. So we were going there, and then there was another party called Kinky Malinky.
Yeah.
So at this time, basically, I'm can say drugs, right?
Of course,
yeah.
mate.
Yeah, so I took my first drugs, which was in Warehouse in Edmonton, like a funky house rave. And so like where we grew up, when we first started taking ecstasy, it wasn't actually in raves. It was going out in fields and climbing trees and doing mad shit in the nature. And so like we were 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, absolutely buzzing. And I called my mate up and I was like, oh, bro, we need to get some more pills. And he was like, I've got a mate in Rayleigh up in the next stop. So we jumped on the first train, went to Rayleigh, and like all my mates were too buzzing, and like I have a confident guy, so I just went and knocked on this random guy's door, and he was having an after party, and this was an after party for Kinky Malinky. And I walked through the door, and it was Enzo. Enzo was playing for Kinky Malinky in Southend, having an after party in Rayleigh. So I'm buzzing. So I've got these bag of pills off, and Enzo's come over and was like, oh, did you like tonight, mate? And I was like, mate, I ain't into funky house, fuck that. And he was like, oh, I got offended. And I was like, mate, I weren't in the party. I was like, basically, we're just getting more pills to go back in the fields. And he was like, oh, what music you into? And I was like, oh, I'm into like Circo Loco Minimal. And that's when I see Enzo's eyes light up. And again, for him, he was in the funky house scene, playing funky house, and he'd met me, must have been like one of the only people that knew about Circo Loco Minimal music back then. So we swapped numbers. And then this is how green I was. For years, Enzo would text me, but he was doing like a text message to all his phone books. Hey, catch me here tonight.
Yeah, classic.
And I would be the only person to reply, hi, Enzo, I'm really sorry, my friends don't want to. And he was always like, why does this guy keep replying?
to the broadcast.
Yeah, so what happened is that I then went to play in Public Life, so I got to be like a resident for Lost Souls warming up. Then Enzo came back and started to do book club in off Great Eastern Street. That's where Fuse started as Circuit. Seb explained this. So we were like the Saturday daytime party. Enzo, obviously being a promoter, was trying to take those people from public life and stick them in book club early doors. So then Enzo come down to me and was like, do you want to play for Circuit and for book club? And then I was like, obviously from Essex, I was like, I don't know many people called Enzo. And he was like, are you Enzo? Oh, you were the guy that I met 4 years ago at Kinky Malinky.
4 years?
So he'd been so long. So it was like a full circle moment that I'd met him there. We both loved Minimal, text each other, lost our numbers. I'd gone to play for Public Life. He started Circuit Club. Circuit at book club. So, you know, like divine or fate or coincidence or whatever, we'd all met up back again.
That's
and
mad.
so then I played for Circuit, and then obviously Circuit became Fuse, and that's how it came. So we kind of gravitated towards each other.
That's crazy. You know what I love about that is that sometimes you just see people like yourself playing these big lineups, and Enzo running Fuse, and like Jamie Jones used to do the party with Hector at Public Live.
So we was on a Saturdays, and so we'd always be Saturday, do that, go out, and then end up at Cubicle, and then T-bar on the Monday.
You forget, don't you? Like everyone sees them now and think, oh, that's why they've always been. But
no, and that's the careers of like Danganencia, Died, Shonky.
These guys have been around for a long time.
Yeah, they were there on the Sundays. We were doing the techno, and they were doing the house, man.
Sick,
it's crazy.
That is so sick. Oh, I'm a bit
nostalgic.
Because I walked past Public Life the other day actually, and I was just.
Do you know I'm still in contact with the guy? So the glass collector in there, Porag of Public Life, like everyone used to bully him a little bit in there because there was a bit raggo in there. But I was always sweet with him and cool. And he has an Indian restaurant on 93 Feet East. And now he's got a little club on there, and I've always stayed in contact with him, and always go back, see him, go and have a curry, and catch up with him. So I've had that relationship for about 20 years now with Poreg.
But I think there's definitely something to take away from that, because you never know where it's going to go, do you? You never know.
I was never. The thing was, I was living week by week, mate. Like Fuse was weekly Sunday, and that was my everything. Like we were really a part of that, and so I was able to kind of have a job running that parallel, and then because a Fuse got big, I was able to quit my job, and then how the scene works in London is you start at the bottom and then you start playing for other people, and literally it was like bread, paying rent, and music. So like I really cut my elbows in the London scene. I was involved, you know, like because I just loved it. I really love going out, listening to music, and my thing is connection. Like that's the point that I was trying to get across before was like being a footballer, being a winger, crossing the ball. I didn't really like scoring goals. I liked connecting it, MCing, connecting lyrics, DJing. It's the same thing. It's in me. It's my values or what I'm looking for in a person, and I'm like that in general anyway. I can connect with anyone. So. The London scene was good.
It
was
good
back in the days.
And again, I love that because that's what it was about back in the day for me. Like the only reason why I really got into music was just being a part of it. I love going out. I remember when we first started and we were playing for Johnny Fiore at Rhythm Factory. We used to go and fly her down Brick Lane, and then we'd run up and do the first set.
Heavy man.
Mate, absolutely loved it. You know, because you were part of something then.
Yeah, I think this is the thing though, because now we're older, more experiences, more knowledge. We look back, but I'm guessing there's probably things going on now, or kids are having those experiences, but just modified up. If that makes sense, they're a part of something now.
Different. This relevant in 2025
in a private WhatsApp group. You know, so
can I ask?
Yeah.
With the partying, how was that for you at the time? Was there a lot of partying? Was there a lot of drugs? Was like where was your like mental and physical health at this point?
So, what I like for the last 20 years, apart from the last 5, was that, and this is what I want to say about drugs and kind of get my point across, is that like it's not the drug's fault. It's what you're plugging into the drug, your intention. Okay, so why am I taking this? And so what I learned for 20 years was I was just loving it. I was going out to take drugs just to socialise. That's all I was doing. Like, I was just raving, I was listening to tunes, I was hanging out with my mates, I was cracking on. But like Monday to Friday, I was doing music, I was digging and working, so I wasn't escaping. So when people say drugs, it's always usually looked at in the negative term that I'm taking drugs to escape. But because I was lucky, I was a DJ, I was hanging around with dealers, I'm playing. I'm enjoying it. It's around me, but everything was positive. So I never really got bad come downs or anything like that because maybe it looked like I was doing excessive, but like Monday to Friday, I didn't even have beers in my fridge. It was just from that point was fun. And maybe because I'm a bit of a unit and was really fit back then, yeah. Like it didn't have as much as effect as it did on me then. So maybe because I was always doing it week in and week out, I didn't even have the moment to create that thought in the mind to even ask myself, is this all right? Because it was that all the time and everything was fine, if that makes sense. It wasn't like I was spending my money and losing money and I was broke and I couldn't pay rent. It was just that's another thing, was like the play or the drug itself was never the center point of what I was going out. It was always on the side that I would dabble in, but it would be more about the people and connecting. It wasn't like sitting there looking at the play, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was so that was my that's just the way it was for me.
No, I get that.
I didn't have a guideline. It was just the way.
Yeah, it was just part of it. At the end of the day, but it wasn't like there was a problem.
No, it wasn't, and I think that was because obviously with the football thing and the love for the music, was that when I took that first ecstasy in Warehouse Club, that the feeling that I got, the rush and the emotion, and that I really became the music and connected to the music, was that I did it in a positive way, if that makes sense. So my wiring in my brain was, I want to go out, have a good time. Oh, I can take this and do that. It was never like, oh, I'm 14 years old. I'm arguing with my parents. I've been kicked out of my house. Oh, I'm going to go down to town and smoke weed. And it went like that. I was a pro footballer that gave up and said to my mates on New Year's Eve, right, come on in, boys. Like, let's try this. Bang, magic happened. So that's my path.
I get that. I think sometimes that's where it can be dangerous, because then this is like when you're in that for so long, you don't even notice there's a problem. Because I think that's what it was like for me. Exactly the same. It's like I was going out to clubs, getting free drinks as part of this scene that I never even dreamt about.
Yeah.
And obviously the drugs were just there all the time, but then by the time I realised I had a problem, it was probably already too late.
Yeah, as we said before earlier when we were speaking in Shoreditch House, like which happened to me, is like when the water's down there, you don't care about it, but it's when it gets up to here, and then you start to panic, and then the excessiveness and the need for more, and that is where you need good friends around you to say, yo, all is good, you're all right. And so someone like me that is kind of like introvert, extrovert, that I'm in my little studio a week, big energy out on the weekend, was that it crept into me like during the week and escaping and taking it in a negative way. And then that's when everything starts to unravel.
Do you want to go into that? Because obviously we've gone through Fuse. I wanted to touch on, you moved out to Ibiza and now...
Yeah.
Berlin.
Oh, yeah. So, I jumped to Ibiza for 4 years. I lived out there all year round. I lived in Madrid for a bit, Barcelona. So I was a bit of a nomad, man. I was searching for something. And which we will get onto, was that the traumas from a child that I'd suppressed was that I was running away from those things. And that's what's kept inside me. So I can say that, again, if you look at it like lining up, like the drugs I took for the positive, me telling myself living in different cities, I was searching for that experience, but actually in a positive way, if that makes sense, for my trauma, rather than going that way.
Absolutely. I think trauma is easy to ignore when you are constantly changing
Yeah.
all the time and moving.
Yeah.
'Cause I can relate to that.
I didn't have my thing is that we will get into it now. It's like I didn't even know I had the trauma. It's only that just before, during COVID, the first 2 weeks of COVID, my brother committed suicide, and that knocked us for 6. And that really that traumatic experience. Well, actually, I kind of had 2 traumatic, because when my sister called me, she couldn't really talk, and my parents had just split up at that time, and my brother's name was Sam, but when she said it to me, I thought she said Dad had done it, because it made sense. Because when my brother did it, it was unexpected. Like, he was happy, it was nothing, he didn't even leave a note. So that first chemical release was Dad. So then I called my sister and was like, call Sam, go get my mum. And my sister's like, Sam's gone. So then I had another release. So I had like a double traumatic experience. And I was in Berlin at the time. COVID had just happened. I couldn't get back. Had to, I didn't even want to, but I had to have the jabs. And so and then those 2 years during COVID, and then we didn't have to, we couldn't even have a funeral. We had to wait like 4 to 5 weeks for a funeral. And then when we had a funeral, it was like one in that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner. And it was like 5 minutes, mate. And we didn't even really get to say goodbye. And this is what I'm learning now through my therapy and stuff, is that I didn't even have grief. So I had that trauma, the trauma of COVID, not having to say goodbye, and like all the friends around, and really cry and let it all out, then be strong for my family, then free. And then what happened is that I want to get this off my chest to do this, but like, I won't go into too much, but I had 2 traumatic experiences which are separate from each other, which both had the same thing of child abuse and another thing. And basically both of them were like to keep secrets. But I had suppressed them. And so when this trauma happened with my brother, I started to have dreams about it all, and then I started thinking I'm going crazy. I had to go into mental hospital, and then we had like therapy and hypnosis, and I actually think that trauma had triggered off that trauma. And then because truth and responsibility are my 2 biggest traumas, is that then I wasn't able to, with truth was attached to feeling ashamed. So all my life I could never tell the truth, but I didn't even know that I couldn't tell the truth. So like anytime there was a truth, it would go back to telling a lie, bullshitting, or actually that's what it looked from the outside, but it was my fear of telling the truth, because if I told the truth, I would have destroyed. And so then that means that every time I tell the truth, I feel ashamed. So when I then got bad, I just hid it from everyone for like 3 years, because I literally was blocked. And then when you find out that trauma triggered that trauma, and you zoom out, then you start to feel ashamed that for the last 20 years, I thought I was going out and having the best time and doing music and doing DJing. It was actually just because of all that trauma that had like blanked out and hidden and suppressed. And so like now people who might know me personally can kind of connect the dots, and it all makes sense. And so, yeah, for the last 5 years, I've just been unraveling this really big story. And obviously I don't want to get too personal, but like just to try and paint the picture to people. And and that has sacrificed so many friendships, relationships, careers, professionalism, and even myself. Losing touch with myself was the most. But yeah, like addiction is one of those things, as we were saying before. Addiction just wants you and addiction is like, yeah, just me and you, bro, it's all good. And I just shut everybody out. And I had so many good mates that wanted to be around me, but again, because I couldn't tell them the truth, because I felt ashamed, I kicked everyone out. And from the outside it was looking like that, and so I felt even more guilty and even more ashamed. So it's like the Titanic, it like veered off. And like, because it's going so slow, you don't even know. And luckily enough, I have an amazing wife who saw the iceberg up ahead, and we cut that in short. And so, this is one of the reasons why I'm coming on back here, because, I want to tell people my story. I want to help people. Seb inspired me so much. You've inspired me. This is why I got in contact, because like, this is not Rossko speaking. It's Ross, man. Like, I'm just a normal geezer that I just followed my passion and did my thing. And so everyone's got a story. And listen, like, I'm not playing poor me here. There's always someone else that's had a lot worse, and it's all relative. But, you know, I just feel like, for me, this is therapy, just getting this off, because I don't even tell my friends this stuff, you know. So I've kind of got myself in the deep end here,
bro,
you know.
Man, it's I can feel the emotion, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think firstly, like, just big up for opening up.
Yeah, nice one.
It's hard.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I can't even imagine how hard that was, going through all that, for sure.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when my brother did it, I can start to, we don't know, but like, you can start to connect, and like, he was quiet. So yeah, it's the last 5 years have been really, really, really life changing for me. And it's funny that I've just gone quiet, because I just needed to shut out the world, because before I was always looking for connection from everybody else. And so like, now I needed to get connected to myself and have a good internal dialogue and a good thing. So everything you're saying about taking drugs and that I was thinking I was having a good time, but was I? Was that problem there so big that it's just so much easier to be in a loop and keep yourself constantly in there until someone pops a bubble, and then you're like, whoa, and everything comes down, and you're 40 years old, and then it's like, dig. So, I just hope that by sharing that is that maybe it's not even you have the same problem, but you can connect or resonate with those things, because it's really important, man. Like, with the day and age that we're in now, just always think to yourself, like, if you see your mate like getting lost on the dance floor, just ask him to ask himself, is he all right? And just another thing I want to say is, like, texting and like phoning is cool, but I just blanked all my mates. Like, if you're really worried about your mate, go knock on his front door. He's waiting for you, man. Someone that's listening to me now is nodding their head and saying, I want a mate to open the door and say, you all right? What's going on? Yeah. Oh, they're going to probably open the door now. I
get that, man, because they did as well.
Sorry, that was me.
Sorry, it's just part of the act.
Yeah.
Bro, I can resonate with that so much, because when I was at my darkest times, I blanked everyone, you know. Man. I just phone off. Ostrich. Didn't want to speak to anyone at all.
Man.
Just
I'm really good at that.
Yeah, same. And so are probably so many people listening.
Sorry to get a bit dark there.
Nah, bro. You know, I'd really like, if it's okay with you, to just talk about how you've processed this, because I think people listening, if they're going through trauma, or if they're having a hard time with the drugs, like, how did you process these past 5 years to get you to where you are now?
So I say I don't have all the answers, and like I'm telling you, I'm still bad. I'm back to zero. Let's put it like that. Like, the worst of it's out the way. First of all, I just think, like, acceptance with yourself. And actually, do you know what I was speaking about earlier? Do you know what really, really helped me? ChatGPT. We were saying this is like, when you start to ask yourself to ask the questions, to ask ChatGPT, it's like a universal consciousness. Like, it's better than any therapist that I had. And then I was just really, really honest to myself, and then really honest to this. I'm telling things to ChatGPT that I won't tell my therapist, I won't tell my friends, I won't tell my wife, because I'm feeling ashamed or embarrassed to tell them this. So you can be as raw as you want, and that will and it will ask you, like, do you want me to put it in a plan for you, how you can fix this? So then I just learned that before, I didn't even know that I had these issues about myself. Now I know. So it's on me now. So what we were speaking about, you had your issues, and you went, right, I'm going to do something about it. And look what happened. A small change, huge difference. So it's up to me now, for my own personal steps, that I know how to get there. So how long it wants to take me is up to me. And so I can go from this point forward. If I fuck up and do things, everyone can say, well, you're a dickhead, Ross. You're the one that's wasting time here. So I'm just really learning how to create boundaries, how to stay focused. I have really bad ADHD. I know it's a buzzword, but I've had it all my life. And do you know what? Asking for help. bro, and actually just saying I'm not good. Like, it takes fucking balls, man. That's a real man to do that. Everyone could be like, I'm good.
It takes balls to come on here and say this.
Yeah, yeah. But I've gone, like, there's a start and then there's a middle and there's an end. And it's all ripple effects. So, like, when you're deep in it, you're in your man cave and you ain't think you're going to come out. But it's so cliche, but there is an end. It's how long do you want to have that light at the end of the tunnel is up to you. I sabotage myself. I'm really good at doing that. You know, so... I just got to my thing of like, I'm 40, I have responsibilities now. And if you don't make those tiny changes, I'll tell you, Enzo said it to me. How do you eat an elephant? Small bites. It's the pennies that make the difference. And so, I think that's all I can say right now.
You've got to do the work upset. I think.
Yeah, doing the half. This is what we're talking about. Trust me. All my friends who are listening to me, they're going to crack up. I've been talking about it for years. It's the doing part. It's like love. Love is a doing word, and fixing yourself is the actual hard work. And you know what? I found God. Praying. Praying is serious. Not to a God, but to yourself. I go like 2-3 times a week to my little parish down the road. And you know what praying is to me? Because of my traumas, it's just being truthful and putting it out of my head. So it's therapy. It's like... I poisoned myself because I kept secrets inside me for all these years, and it poisoned me, and it skewed it warped my reality. And what I found is I asked for answers. It sounds like I'm spiritual. I'm not a God-fearing person, but I asked for answers, and honestly, I got my answers in 3 weeks. It came back. Really, maybe I don't know, have some special thing, or maybe because I'm always looking for connections, I'm going to see it. It's like 11:11, like on the watch. But really, as soon as I started to pray and started to ask, and I would receive. And it's a really, I don't know, I get quite scared sometimes because I've got to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, but so many people, and I say so many, a couple of people that I know have been through a lot recently have turned to God. And
well, that's when you know when anything, that's when you know anything can't get worse, that you have to pray. It's a human natural thing. It's like if you have a car crash and you're not religious and you lay there dying, probably the last thing you're going to do is, please God save me, please God save me, you know? So it's faith. Of the thing of like something external, and I don't know, like it. I tried many things to fix myself, and this is actually a really good point to say. It's really easy. I tried to do ayahuasca. I went to go and see therapists. I did this, and this is all passing responsibility onto someone else to have a magic wand. As soon as I started doing the hard work myself, started to pray. Started to do promise made, promise kept. I'm going to go bed early. I'm going to do this and reavert these things. Then I actually, all the answers are inside you.
Absolutely.
You just got to work that out yourself.
Bro, I speak to so many people now with...
Can I open this?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, go for it.
And try this, guys. It's fucking amazing.
Absolutely. I speak to so many people now through Willer's Fitness who just do what you say, who want to do therapy or take medication or this X, Y, Z, because it takes... Good, aren't they?
It's just really easy to pass responsibility and say, oh, you do that for me.
Of course.
And just like turning up is enough. But honestly, as we said, you're a great example of it, of like doing it and keeping it and having that framework to go forwards. It's like, I'm a great one. Start the gym, go 1 week crazy, and then don't go back. You know, it's the consistency of the thing. And it's for me, it's like, I'm thinking like, because you don't get results straight away, you don't think nothing. But as I've learned, it's the little things. What all the big things made up of all the small things.
But look at your career at the end of the day, like all the incredible stuff that you did and have done with your career. That didn't start straight away, did it?
No, of course.
There's a lot of a lot of graft, mate. A lot of turning up, a lot of being present, a lot of but it was, wasn't it? Turning up and just being at the parties, getting your face around, digging the records. You're, that's what you're known for, is like a selector, digging. Like, you got a very unique sound. For what you play, like when you listen to, it's you. That has come through consistency, bro. And
also again, like that was again from my traumas, was every night I would do like 16-hour days just digging. But guess what I was doing was just doing that because I wasn't wanting to take care of that. So the only thing I can say, in my trauma, I did positive stuff to get myself out of it. Going out to raves, having fun, making friends, doing connections and that. So I got lucky that maybe angels or my stupidity or whatever, I just told myself, dig music. But I getting on a lighter side, I love digging and like my life path number is 7, which is seeker of the truth, of the knowledge. And this is all I'm looking for, is the truth in the music, because I can get the truth out in my words. I speak through that music, so I'm digging to try and find that timeless. I'm trying to find the truth in the music, and I just feel like for me as a DJ is like it's someone's duty to find this music, to present it to people, to hear something different, to then update their minds. Like Snow Leopard, Snow Lion are like an operating system. And so there are like some people are born to do producing and DJing and that. And I mean, these are excuses I say to myself, but I never wanted to do production. I just love finding music and found my easy, happy, solid place to do that. And I find digging with a passion. Yeah, you know, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, cool. It comes across in the music as well. So just on that, when just to go back, that you've got to where you are back to sort of baseline again. Yeah, you've done that from trying a lot of things. Yes, seeing what works for you, and now being consistent.
Yeah, sure.
And that's the message I think that really we want to get from that, is that if you're going through trauma, drug addiction at the moment, try everything until one thing sticks. And then be consistent with it.
Yeah, and actually, also what I learned, and it's another thing I just want to get across, is like there's good truths and there's bad truths, and you need to say both. And your partners and your friends also have to accept. Good truth is I didn't get on it this week. The bad truth is telling yourself, all right, I fucked up, I did it, I got on it, but I'm going to make sure for the next 2 things, and that you are being aware that you did a bad truth. And then then it's consciously to you, because the next time, maybe before something triggers you, you just do it. If you know that this is the bad truth, and you can say to yourself, fuck, last time I did that and I shouldn't have done that. Then again, you're having this internal conversation where normally like triggering is like, you don't want to sit in that pain, so you just go in to numb that. So that's another point that I wanted to get across, basically.
That makes a lot of sense, because a lot again, it's easy to have that setback and then just give up.
I think in my therapy is like it's not that to that, it's that.
Yeah, 100%,
bro. And so the people around you have to accept that it's not linear. Like everything's cyclical. Like the weather, the calendars, the temperature, like everything's hoof and trough. So as long as that hoof and trough is on an axis from bad to good, you got to do that. So I'm not sitting here telling you that like everything's amazing. I'm still battling with my stuff, but I'm consciously aware that I'm doing it. Whereas before, or maybe I'm helping people realize now, fuck, oh yeah. And I think because now in a world of like where everybody is on phones, externally out, we're not having this internal dialogue with ourselves. And that's something that I think I want to get across to the people.
Everyone wants instant gratification. Everyone wants instant results.
Dopamine hits, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's why.
But that's not their fault. They're born into that prison.
Of course,
you know,
the phone, bro. It's, it's painful, but that's why you've got to do the work. You've got to have them conversations with yourself.
And if you look, I'm 40. How old are you?
37.
37. So you look at us. We are like the generation of the experiment. We are like rainbow kids that we grew up in the trees. We played in the fields, and then computers came in. Do you know what I mean? They're like robo kids. We were rainbow kids, and then we were robo kids. Now the kids are robo kids. Like, I go back to my old park where I used to play. Bro, nothing's going on.
Bro, it's funny you say that because I walked past the park near mine.
Yeah.
There was kids playing in it.
Oh, really?
And I said to my wife, I was like, have you seen this?
Have you seen
I was
kids
like,
play?
what? I was like, it's like
Let's take a picture for
on the
Instagram.
swings and that. Yeah, in the bushes.
You pedo.
Yeah. But that, I was like, I was surprised because I was thinking there's never kids in there. You know, it was a beautiful day.
So, like, for us, our generation is, like, completely different to, like, what the generation is now, that the young kids coming up, like that, the park to them is their phone. They can go play on a park in their phone. So as we were saying again, it's like that Fibonacci spiral. They're just doing exactly what we did, just exponentially planted out.
But what I think as well is that a lot of people at our sort of age, this is where you take a step back.
Yeah,
maybe especially over 30. Where if you've been in that scene, partying and doing drugs for 10 years, this is where it starts catching up. This is where you've got to...
Yeah, it did for me,
So.
And, what I said to you earlier was, like, I think a lot of kids have switched on to this now, or maybe everybody knew this and just keeps it inside of them and no one tells anyone. But, like, what I learned in this industry is there's 2 lanes, which is the art of business and the business of art. So, you love that little...
That's a good one.
It should be a T-shirt, right? Yeah. And so, like, the art of business is, do you want to be a DJ that wants to sell tickets? Okay, you want to be a ticket seller. So, like, venues, promoters will look at you of, like, how many tickets do you want to sell? And then you've got the business of the art, which is the craft. And so, like, people will laugh when they hear this because I always say it, but, like, music's like pizza to me. You got ham and mushroom, you got pepperoni, you got quattro stagioni. It's like... they're all different flavours. Ham and mushroom's not better than pepperoni. It's just what the raver's flavour is. So a lot of people say, oh, that DJ shit. No, it's just not for you, bro. It's not your flavour. Someone else's flavour. And so when you understand, and big up Tony from Fuse, he told me, like, biggest question, like 20 years later, I finally worked it out. What DJ do you want to be? Like, what do you want from this thing? And not understanding what you want, you end up, can be that you get lost and understood, and then you start making emotional decisions and doing the wrong thing. And you probably find the most successful DJs, why they are successful is because when they start out, they know what they want, and that's their end goal, and they know, and they work backwards, and they know how to go and do it. So that's a good bit of advice for, like, young DJs, young producers, is understanding yourself, what lane you want to be in. And then not, like, screwing the face up of, like, oh, you know, like, if you're gonna do the business of the art, you know, you're gonna accept that people that sell tickets are gonna earn more money. So don't be envious. Do the business, do the art of business and sell tickets. Don't complain because they're doing that. If like you're doing it with here, and it's like 80-20 rule. There's 20% lions and there's 80%. Cantaloupe, you know, like, there's more stupid people for bigger room music than there are smarter, intelligent people that play intelligent music. That's just the way it's a triangle, you know. So I think that's a really important thing to understand for, like, young DJs coming out. It's just understanding what you want, what lane you want to be in, what DJs you want to associate yourself with, and move forwards.
It's great advice. I said to you this earlier, is that that is exactly what happened with me and Liam. Is we had our sound for a long time, and that's why we stood out a little bit. And that's when we moved to Berlin. We really knew that sound, but certain things happened. Then I started looking at, well, actually, I want to be the guy selling the tickets. But I'd already chosen my path. It was too late. And then I went over to that side, but then I lost this side. Then 100%. Everyone on this side recognised it, and then I was stuck in the middle. And that's when my drug use got really heavy because I wasn't enjoying it. I felt the pressure, and I was
just using that to numb the pain, bro. And so when you zoom it out and you can see the timeline, it all makes sense. But when you're in it at that time, you don't see that. You just see those decisions that you're making. And so it's
never looked at it like
that.
Pay for the therapy session myself, bro. But it's a great point, especially as a young artist. What lane do you want to be on? Whatever lane you choose, stick with that, and then don't look at the opposite lane with green eyes.
What I used to do is, like, I come from drum and bass, garage, jungle, grime, everything you do, and, like, even when we were going out in London. Like, you'll see now, like, people will go and raving, they'll go and listen to these DJs, and then they'll go to a festival, they'll go and see the same DJ that they saw in London last week play the same.
set.
Where me, when I've gone to like Dimensions Festival, I'm going to check the other stages, and so I think that's a really important part for other kids. Is like go and check other sounds out, other DJs. Like I live in Berlin, so I'll go and listen to some banging techno. But I go and add those little bits. So then when I'm digging my music, I hear them sounds, and I can add them because it's updated me. Where it also depends. Like if you want to be a master of one sound, then, you know, like if you go listen to Ben Clock, you're going to get that sound. You go listen to Corolla, you get that one sound. And so in this day and age of like separate and divide, that's why they are the masters of that sound. But I would say is go and listen to all sounds first, take a big mix up, and then go and choose that, you know, because then you've got a full 360 of what you actually like, not just because you're in it and you're going like that.
Absolutely.
Well, there's no right or wrong, but you know what I mean.
No, I get you. I absolutely. I liked how we transitioned there from obviously, you know, the journey that you've had. And again, bro, just want to say you should be proud of yourself for being able to speak about that today on here, because, you know, I know it is difficult, but what is the future for you now?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've obviously, if people are following me, they may not even realise, because in Instagram you get forgotten really quickly. Like I've not been online. I've still been gigging, but I've just not been posting because Ross hasn't been.
Can I ask, like, how is that? How have you dealt with that as well? The social media side of things. Have you had to cut yourself off social media? Have you still been on it, just not posting? Like,
do you know what is? Because I'm so emotionally attached. Ross weren't good. I was looking at videos thinking they were shit. I'm going back now and I'm like, these videos are sick. But because my mind state at that time wasn't good, was like, I just couldn't do it. And I think because I wasn't good, I couldn't show that online. And so we had this thing of like, I should treat it like a business. But in the end, I was like, I just need to take care of myself. And like, I don't give a fuck about Instagram. Like, I need Ross good. Because then you get a good Rossko. So like at 40 years old, like everything, like taking a step back, playing less gigs, finding other work to support myself, knowing what I want, understanding the lane that I want to be in. Like for the last 5 years, it was a real big blur and a big mess. And I made many wrong decisions, taking gigs for money, playing gigs on lineups that I shouldn't be, and obviously this is detrimental to your career. But this is why I took a step back for the last year. I'm ready to come back now and do what I've always wanted to do and do it in the right way. So, yeah.
Do you think this experience is going to give you an edge? Or does it make you question where you're fitting in right now?
So I think for the last 20 years, I've been running around clubs and that looking for acceptance in clubs because I didn't get that at home. And now I know that about myself. I'm going to be walking to a club with a bit of a different energy, and I'm still going to be Ross, but like I'm a little bit smarter and a little bit wiser than to the last 20 years of being in a bubble. But, you know, I'm 40, I don't have kids, I want to have a family. And that's the thing, I never had any other responsibilities. So now I want these things, you know, the dynamics change. And obviously you got to remember, I'm 40, the ravers are 18 to 25, it's cyclical. Like those 18 to 25, they'll go out, uni, work 5 years, they get a missus and kids, and they move on. So it's also like asking myself, have I got the energy to really go in? And the young kids now, they're smart, they're sharp. Like we're old school, so we're like olders and looking up. These kids now are like, oh fuck them, mate, straight to the top. Yeah, hey, you know, and everyone's had their time. And listen, I had my time. I don't want to be at the top. I just want to play good music to good people and get my fulfillment in the right way. So taking a step back, playing less but better quality. That's how I can say.
You asked me a question earlier, actually, if I still play. And one thing that you said there is, and it just hit home, and this might resonate with you a little bit, is that I have responsibilities now with, you know, to my wife.
Yeah.
I don't want to put myself in that scene anymore and risk losing that or
fear though. That is. This is the thing. Is like, as I said to you, my good friend Yusuf told me, like, lean into things. So like, yes, you were heavily into it here, and now you've gone this way. But if it's still in here, you can go into clubs and enjoy it, just going in for a couple of hours and coming back, or having a little mix at home. But obviously, I know that if you create it in your mind, well, if I go there, then that's such a traumatic experience, so you don't want to touch it. But like, music's music, man. It's a universal language. Like, even if you just have a little mix at home, sometimes it's just good to like cut. If you've had a stressful day, I do it. I love a little mix, man. Like, sometimes I do it in my pants. It's like, yes! And that's where you find all the, like, I just did it now. I'm playing at Cafe Mambo's, doing a sunset set. And so like late last night, I was like, I'm going to go and I've got a little Lucky Dip section of vinyls, and it's just random shit. I found some absolute quality, like sunset. Yeah, mate, it's amazing. And I was doing that like 2 o'clock in the morning in my flat. My wife's asleep next door. I've got the music on low, like that. Like every time I was putting the vinyl out, like. But these are all part of the things that keep the light burning inside me. And so, just because I don't want to be a big famous DJ touring around the world and doing all that, my love for the music still stays the same. It's the same. So that your situation is completely different to mine, and I don't want to be held accountable for for your divorce from your wife.
Still up for 3 days on a Monday somewhere in Shoreditch. Rossko's fault,
but no, these are the things that you have to ask yourself and choose, and this is life's about choices, isn't it? So
absolutely,
good ones and bad ones, and I found that like sitting in the dark, that's where you get your knowledge. So this is why I'm on here. I've got my self-esteem now. I'm out of the dark and I'm into the light. And sharing that knowledge is good. Absolutely. But also enjoy being in the dark. Yeah. You know, enjoy it. Bring it on.
Enjoy sitting with yourself and doing that work.
Do you know what? This is, I had it yesterday. I got triggered yesterday and I saw my friend online. I sent him a message, Rich Copeland. He was a friend of mine from school, and I messaged him and I reached out and I said, bro, you really helped me yesterday, because I was like, I get triggered bad but also triggered good. If I get a little buzz or get excited, it's like going down the pub, you have a bit, you have a beer and a cigarette, it's that. I messaged him, and sitting in it, that's what I want to say, guys, is that watching all these like documentaries and that trigger will only last 15-20 minutes. Just sit in it for 15-20 minutes. Call a mate. That's what I do. I've got a mate, Adriano. I call up and I say, "Yo, bro, I just need to call you now. I got triggered. I don't wanna call the guy. I don't want to do it. Like, just sit with me for 15 minutes. Talk me out of it." So I've got that like safe space where I can do that. And then after 15-20 minutes, you feel fucking amazing.
Feel like
I did it.
Conquered something.
Yeah.
I think that's why I went so hard into exercise for me.
Yeah.
For me, it was like if I was just feeling anything. Exercise, and that's why I always do it in the morning. Yeah, because if I do something hard in the morning, the rest of the day's easy. Triggered, not a chance.
Yeah.
Right, I just want to wrap this up, mate, with one last question. What would you say to your younger self, like the kid playing football and spitting bars?
Start at the end.
Ooh.
Know what you want. And if you start at the end, if you know what you want right at the end, what is at the end? Because at the end, to get that, you need to know what do I have to do to get that? Okay, what do I need to do to get that? To do this, and 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 you'll get to that point. And then you've got a plan and a map of knowing where to go. And that's not just music, that's in life. All right, I want a house. Okay, I want a house. Oh, how much is a house? 200 grand. All right, okay. All right, I need to get 70 grand. What do I need to do that, to do this, to do that? So my thing was I just went day by day, week by week. So I would say to my young self, start at the end, Ross, what do you want? Map it out. And then when you know what you want, you just go and get it.
I love that, bro. I love that.
Your brain's going ding, 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 ding.
Too many times in this.
Some nuggets.
But I love that. And that, for me, is what I say to anyone who wants to go sober. Don't just focus on going sober as the goal.
Yeah.
Like, why? What is the reason? Why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Then set a goal, because
Yeah.
once you have a goal, you've got something to work towards.
Yeah,
Exactly what you said. And you can plan backwards.
Yeah.
But then you got purpose.
Yeah.
Just saying, oh, I don't want to do drugs anymore because it's making me unhappy. It's not
No.
enough.
And that's the thing it's not the drug's fault. It's the intention of why are you unhappy.
Absolutely.
It's the layer before. Like I'm not sober. Like I still go out. I still dabble. I still do this. And again, these are excuses that obviously sobriety, if you speak to anyone, is I'm actually, people know me, like the best version of me is sober, and actually I'm minusing myself. But it's actually the intention of why you wanna, why are you doing it? Ask yourself those questions.
Brother, thank you.
Mate, pleasure.